How are you doing, Abigail? That woke you up, didn't it?
It did wake me up.
Sorry about that. That is the Army hymn played on bagpipes, if you couldn't tell. You never know what I'm going to throw at you. So it's Father's Day, and we are sitting here. We were going to do our podcast yesterday, but we had a little event that I actually found really cool. So we actually went to one of Abigail's friends' daughter's baptism.
Yes.
Is that the best way you could describe it?
Yes.
Now, I've been to very, very few baptisms. And this one was in a Catholic church. And it was more, I don't want to say ceremonial. Maybe it was a little more ceremonial. But I actually found it really, really cool. And I was really like listening carefully and trying to take it in. And it was her friend's daughter, as well as there was a family from Africa that was there. And I just thought it was a beautiful ceremony. What did you think?
I think so. The guest of honor on our end didn't cry when the water was poured over her head, but the other family, the kid lost his shit.
Which was pretty sad. But there was a weird time where I didn't know if you saw me, but it was after the end, and we were just kind of walking around, and I was out front, and there was a little boy, I don't know, maybe two, and I'm standing there, and he was from the other family, and he just walks over and just takes my hand, and I'm standing there like, I'm not kidnapping this guy. Like in my head, I'm like, I must look so weird. So I'm just talking to the little kid, and he's just like looking up at me, and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" Like I was talking to him like I was talking to Toto. Toto
is like a little kid.
He is, but the weird part was the other family wasn't looking for this little boy, and I just stood there, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "Can somebody help me here?" And finally, he let go, and he ran back to his little family. I'm like, oh, thank God. I didn't want like them to come over and just like worry that I was trying to kidnap the kid. I had a little mini heart attack then. But anyway, so that was the baptism. Then we went out, had a great meal, and that's why we didn't do the podcast, because I was full. What about you?
I was full too.
And then it was nothing but sports. Great news for all of you UFL fans, all six of us.
I thought it was the USFL.
That's what one of the conferences now. There's the USFL and the XFL. They merged to be the UFL.
Somehow I forgot.
As some people will call it, the No Fan League, because there's no fans in the crowd. But I'm not saying because I don't even think Abigail really cares, of our DC Defenders have won the second UFL championship. And now I said a few years back, if they would ever win, I'd finally buy a jersey. So I am going to be buying a UFL jersey, not sure what player to get. We also have the Stanley Cup playoffs going on. Sadly for the NHL, very low ratings for some of the greatest games being played. They had two games go to overtime. One game had the Edmonton Oilers were down by 3 goals, and they scored 3, tied it up, and won in double overtime. I mean, the games have been phenomenal. Florida is now leading 3-2, trying to end it tomorrow night. So we'll find out about that. And your girl was dominating.
She did indeed. First game back against the best team in the league. She nails 32 points with 7 3-pointers, and some of them were from way deep.
Wait, didn't she score like 9 points in like 30 seconds or something?
Something like that.
Like she's just dominated. Angel Reese is pitiful.
Angel Reese is pitiful.
Yeah. So that was sports. But then all of the big news. Where do we start? Do you want to start with the Army parade? a little more nice thing. But before we do that, I got that clip on YouTube. The guy playing, not YouTube, excuse me, on X, the guy playing the bagpipes. I am terrified of the XAI and how they're able to use it. There's a bunch of guys who do these stormtrooper videos, these guys who do the Yeti videos, and more of these videos are coming out that are funny. I mean, they're hilarious. But then there was one of Catlin Clark trashing Angel Reese, and it's not real at all. Then there's another one of President Trump, and they use his real words, but they can just edit them together, I guess almost instantly. They just type it out, and they find every speech he's ever given. Mm-hmm. And he's just sitting there, and you could easily manipulate that to send to your own people, to make it sound real, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It is scaring the bejesus out of me. I don't know about you. Like, I show you some of these things, and you just, like, shake your head and look at me. But I'm like... think about like someone who is not knowledgeable of AI and they see Donald Trump giving a speech, just attacking everyone and saying vile things. Mm-hmm. You know, it's so easy to think that it's real.
I don't have that problem.
Well, I can't imagine you having that problem, but you know, there are some people with little tiny minds, little tiny heads. Mm-hmm. Some would say they're on the left-hand side. So, yeah, so we had the parade last night. I sadly turned off. I was upset about it. I know you really didn't get a chance to watch much of it. Mm-hmm. It's so weird, like watching a parade. Like, first I had it on Newsmax, turned it off. Then I turned it on Fox, turned that on. I finally found something called like Fox 1 or something like that, or which I think was just normal, quote unquote, like Channel 5, where no one was talking. It was nice to watch the parade with no one talking. Like, I was getting mad, like, shut up. I just want to watch the little, like, everything got by. I wouldn't mind knowing who these soldiers are, what groups they're in, you know, what division they're in. No, they were just blah, 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 blah. It was like listening to me, I guess, for a half hour. Mm-hmm. And they just seeing the soldiers, they were happy, they were smiling. Trump saluted every single group. So he stood up. He was the only one. I mean, the guy's almost 80. He turned 79 yesterday. Happy birthday, Mr. President. And he was literally saluting every single group. For an hour and a half, he stood there, just saluted. It's pretty damn good. And then, of course, like the tanks would go by, and then he would sit down. So it was like they played it out so he could stand and sit and stand, sit and stand. But then they're making fun of the one guy who's called the drone guy. Mm-hmm. He's towards the end. He was holding a drone in his hand, just walking like it was a pizza, you know, with a big box of pizza. And he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And everyone was waving, having a good time. And sadly, a lot of the flyovers were canceled. Yeah, just because of the weather. But then Trump he re-swore in the people who re-enlisted, and he did that live. No one knew that he was going to do that. So that was a special occasion. Mm-hmm. Then he gave a beautiful speech, and then there was fireworks. Sadly, I missed all of that because I was too busy watching the DC Defenders win the UFL championship. My brother hates the UFL. He thinks it's garbage. Yeah, well, minor league football. But if it's minor league football, what's college football? Oh, interesting question. Because they are really minor leagues then.
Right.
Anyway. So that went on, and at the same time, you had the No Kings Riots. And I had to explain it today to a couple people what it was for. It was basically saying that Donald Trump is trying to be the king. And this protest...
I don't see how they connect that.
Well,
because... the parade. Yeah. The parade wasn't like Russia and North Korea where they pull all their missiles and march them down the street. It was more about history and going over the background and the history of the Army.
Right.
And celebrating the birthday of the Army.
Right. The Army, which is actually older than the country itself. Mm-hmm. Which is amazing. In case you didn't understand that. The Army was actually formed before the actual Declaration of Independence was signed.
Right.
So we were a country after our U.S. Army was created. So, and Pete Hegseth was saying, "Hey, just wait till the Navy has their 250th anniversary." And one of the guys who interviewed him looks at him and goes, "Are we going to do a parade on the water?" And Pete Hegseth just smiled, like, "Oh yeah." Just imagine a parade of ships. Like, obviously, you'd have to do it in some huge waterway, like the Hudson River or something. You know,
I don't think the Hudson could take a aircraft carrier.
probably not. San Francisco could do it though, because they do go in through San Francisco under the Golden Gate Bridge. So can you imagine just like the left was mad at this? Can you imagine seeing all of our ships just going through? Like, I don't know how
The
they would
West
do it.
Coast?
Yeah, the left coast.
Yeah.
Oh man, someone might try to throw poop at them. And I say that for a reason, because in the No Kings riots, they actually were passing out flyers on how to poop in bags and throw it at police. How disgusting is that?
That's pretty gross.
There's actual centers that teach people how to not riot, but how to protest. And those are some of the things. And yeah, the protests have been crazy. And now they're all over the country. And then, and with the protests, you have the whole thing with the National Guard. And what was it, last Saturday? Not 2 days ago, but the previous Saturday. You know, like you had all of these people blaming Trump for, these riots and about calling the National Guard, and the National Guard wasn't even there yet. And now the National Guard is protecting federal buildings. That's perfectly legal. And Trump literally saw what happened the last time he didn't do that.
Right.
And
I found interesting last week was the senator. Padilla, what's his name?
Oh, Padilla. Oh, thank you for bringing that up. I totally forgot about him. So much is going on.
I mean, what a setup and what a punk. And he's, out there campaigning on the fact that he's an idiot. And, he got cuffed and he's trying to play poor me.
Can you explain what happened? It was with Kristi Noem speaking, right?
Yeah, she had just started a press conference about the riots. And Padilla comes barging in the room and starts to thrust towards the stage, yelling. I don't even know what he was yelling, but it doesn't matter. Her Secret Service or whoever was protecting her shoved him outside the room while he kept lunging forward. He deserved to get arrested, and that's where they made the mistake. They only cuffed him and then they let him go.
And how was he dressed? Because people when you think he's a senator, like how was he
wasn't
dressed?
wearing a suit.
And he didn't have his senatorial pin, which is big enough that the Secret Service would recognize that instantly. He didn't say who he was. He didn't say, "I'm Senator, Padilla, and I have a question for you." He just, he did it on purpose. He probably was hoping to be arrested.
Of course.
Just like, because he sees like all of these other Congress people who are getting arrested and he wants his turn to show that he's a fighter for the left. And let it happen. Let it happen.
Well, I think that, most people see that for what it is.
Right. Except it gives if the Republicans had the cojones, like the woman in New Jersey, the congresswoman, she actually was indicted. Now, as we all know, after the Trump indictments, anybody can be indicted. What they say, even a ham sandwich can be indicted. Mm-hmm. So an indictment really is nothing. But if she actually is found guilty, hey, you know what? If she's found guilty and goes to jail, that she should be immediately thrown out of Congress. Mm-hmm. Immediately. I mean, you like George Santos, who was a total idiot. I mean, we all know he's a total fool.
He's a scumbag.
He was a scumbag, but he was not indicted. And the Republicans threw him out before that happened. Now, once again, he is a scumbag and deserved to be thrown out. But at the time he was thrown out, he was just had accusations. Meanwhile, the Democrats, there's no word about this woman being thrown out at all. Why? Why is she not being thrown out?
She's a Democrat.
I know. It's so insane. And then I know some people would say, well, you don't want to do what they do, blah, blah, blah. You know what? they're going to continue to do this every year until they get stopped. It's like a little kid who is kicking you, and then eventually you punch the little kid in the face. Maybe then they'll stop and then they cry. Wah! Like Gavin Newsom. Like, I'm hoping.
What a putz.
Let's also not forget Gavin Newsom is Nancy Pelosi's nephew. Most people don't know that. And like, he has been a scumbag since he's been in office, since he was the mayor of San Francisco, who literally, when he cheated on, he actually cheated on his wife with another guy, ruined this one guy's life. And he gave the press conference. He was practically smiling, almost like bragging about it. And nothing happened to him. No big deal.
What did he do to his wife?
He cheated on his wife with this, with one of these other politicians. And this one, it happened in 2007, I think. Yeah, 2007. And he was like, and he gave such a good apology. I'm so sorry for doing it. I let my people know. I mean, it was just, it was.
Wait a minute. Who did he cheat with, and who did he apologize to?
He cheated with a woman who was another politician's wife.
Oh.
And it like was a scandal in California, and it almost was like it was his badge of honor. It made him famous at the time, if that makes sense. And he's been successful ever since. He turned that into kind of like how Bill Clinton, like it made him more popular.
I don't see anything that Bill Clinton did that would make him more popular.
Well, after he was impeached, he became more popular than ever before. I mean, people just were like, "Oh,
another scumbag."
Yeah, I mean, he was almost a martyr, and some people like that. Mm-hmm. Hillary, the whole "I stood by my man" syndrome. Oh, she's so brave. And, then years later we have, every woman's voice matters, and you must believe every woman unless they're, unless it's a Republican, then it doesn't matter. Well, that's a whole other topic. Nancy Mace, I love when she talks about that. But yeah, it's just getting out of hand with the riots and everything. And they're like, it's not the mostly peaceful riots again. They're still lighting cars on fire. They blame the National Guard.
I can't get over them flying Mexico's flag and the Palestinian flag. Go back. Or go wherever you want to go, but don't stay here.
Right. I mean, if it's so good in Mexico, you're so proud of being Mexican, then go back to Mexico. And by the way, they're not even that. I mean, I think I saw like an El Salvadorian flag, but it's mostly Mexican flags. Like, why? Why are they mostly Mexican flags? Like, is that the only people that are like immigrants fighting for, which I don't understand. And then what led to that was we have the new problem with the gentleman. Now some people are calling him the No Kings murderer in Minnesota. And I am really hoping he doesn't kill himself, because I want to see that trial. Because you have, what was it, his roommate said he was MAGA, but then he was appointed by Waltz as a political appointee for a position. I apologize, I didn't write it down. And so if the why would Waltz appoint a Republican? Like, I want to know more. Like, it's one of those, we really have to wait for the facts to come in. He had the flyers that said no kings, but they were just pieces of paper that just said no kings on them. Like, it wasn't like with a picture of Donald Trump with like an arrow, not like a circle with a slash through him. Like, I want to know, like, who is this guy? And he had a hit list that had Republicans and Democrats on it. Like, I want him to live just so he goes to trial. So hopefully we learn more. Because if he was like a Democrat operative, I guarantee we would not know anything about the manifesto at all. We wouldn't know anything. If he's a Republican, guarantee the manifesto comes out immediately. It'll be leaked by CNN or MSNBC somehow, magically. But I mean, that's all. We're getting to the point where violence is going. And the congresswoman that he killed, I mean, it is interesting. Melissa Hortman and her husband were killed, and a state senator was wounded, and she actually was the only Democrat to vote with the Republicans on stopping Medicare, or is it Medicaid? I did it again. What's the difference again?
Medicaid.
Medicaid. That's the one for the poor people, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So she voted to stop Medicaid for illegals.
Mm-hmm.
She was the only Democrat. Was that the reason she was shot?
I don't know.
That's why we need this guy alive. I want to find out. I'm not going to assume he's a Democrat. I'm not going to assume he's a Republican. He just could be a total whack job anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He could be anything. And we have a lot of whack jobs out there. It's getting kind of freaky scary, because then there'll be like crazy Republicans who do the same thing eventually.
Right.
I mean, like if they find, I don't want to mention any names, Congressman blah blah blah. They find that person at a just having dinner. They might go crazy and start screaming at them.
Mm-hmm.
When they might have their family. It's Father's Day. Maybe they're out, having dinner at a restaurant, and this crazy Republican comes and starts screaming at them. It's just we've reached a point where I don't want to say tone it down, but at the same time, we need internally these people to stop. But Congress makes money off that.
Mm-hmm.
They actually will, the more rah you are, the more money you get from supporters. It is true. I mean, you can't compromise. If you compromise, you're going to lose your fund, the people who fund you. But that's, yeah. And then we got Israel.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about Israel?
Go for it.
So Israel had enough of Iran. They know. And Bibi Netanyahu said it right. He said, we can't wait for them to actually build nuclear weapons before we do anything. I'm really happy that Marco Rubio came out and said America has had nothing really to do with this. We probably do, behind the scenes, but we're not flying American planes over, so it's not us. We're not launching any missiles. And so they, unbelievable how brilliant the Israeli IDF is.
And Mossad.
And the Mossad. They actually set up bases inside Iran.
Yeah.
Now, for scale purposes, to understand how big Iran is compared to Israel, Iran is basically the size of Texas and Alaska combined.
Okay.
Israel is the size of New Jersey.
Wow.
Iran is 80 times bigger, landmass wise.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not easy, to make up for that. And population sizes, they're much bigger. So the Mossad, they were able to infiltrate. They actually were able to attack Iran from within. Brilliant. They did drone strikes. They were actually blowing up planes on the airfield. They were attacking there's 3 main nuclear sites. They've damaged heavily 2. One they're going to be trying to get at as well.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know the behind the scenes. They may be so far underground that their weapons might not be able to. So we might have to give them some of our bombs. There's the Moab bomb, the mother of all bombs. We might have to secretly give them a few of those to take them out. They have air superiority almost instantly.
Yeah.
And that was set up from years ago, when Syria collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
Everything Israel has done has been part of the plan. They went in, we all know about them crushing Hamas. But when they went after Hezbollah, they're going after all of these areas that will make it easier for them to fly into Iran. Now, Iran, on the other hand, for a while couldn't fire back. They finally have organized because a lot of their leadership were killed.
Yeah.
Now, you've noticed the top 4 or 5 guys have been killed. If you're number 6 on that list, do you really want to take control? I wouldn't. At that point, I'd be like, oh, shit, no, thanks, guys. Let this guy go over here. He'll take command. I'll become a private. You know, so they're like they're taking them out. They're taking out the nuclear scientists. That's kind of scary. Taking out civilians who are doing this, and once they're taking out the ballistic missile sites. They're taking out the airplanes. They're taking out all the deliverables.
Right.
The retaliation by Iran is they're going after Israel's population centers.
Mm-hmm.
What will happen eventually? Israel will accidentally start dropping bombs in Tehran proper, in the city. And that's when the Gulf states may intervene a little bit more.
Yeah.
Iran is, Bibi Netanyahu, he spoke to the people of Iran directly.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk, what is his product? Starlink? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, he actually has Starlink set up so that the people of Iran can actually listen and actually follow what's going on with Israel. Because they don't want to hurt, they want the Iranians to rise up.
I know they do, but I don't think that's going to happen.
It almost happened under Obama, and Obama literally left them to be killed. You know, the Green Revolution.
Green Revolution.
Yeah, and we need them to rise up with the help of Mossad. Get in there. Somehow you have to overthrow the Ayatollah. Once he's gone, the theocracy, he and the rest of them, all the other Ayatollahs, they need to be overthrown and have the president take over again. Now, of course, the president is also, he's appointed by the Ayatollahs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea who even is the president of Iran. But so you got to overthrow the religious side. And then maybe the people could revolt and actually take over. And the military, I mean, if they get beaten down enough, they may overturn and have a coup. They might. That's what we need. We don't need like total wars. We have to be very careful about the oil because we know, oil prices are going to go up like crazy. I think they went up, 15% to 30% already?
Oil, maybe.
Oil prices.
Gas prices.
Well, right.
8%.
8%, but it hasn't even been that bad yet. That's estimated. So, you know, if this keeps happening and all of a sudden the oil starts not going well, China is going to be heavily involved in this because they import most of their oil from Iran. So, China has no natural oil.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they have no natural oil. So they're getting it all from Iran. They have lots of coal. Lots and lots of coal. So they might force the issue for Iran to back off and to end it. Because they need their oil. We should be pumping oil like crazy. Saudi Arabia immediately came out against the Israelis, but now they've been quiet. Like they really don't want to get involved because they signed the Abraham Accords and everything else. It's been a very fascinating just watching all the other countries around. You know, no one really wants to say anything, but China is like, if anything, China's economy is very fragile right now. And if they run out of oil, the people are going to go crazy in China and there's going to be a massive revolt there. Because they don't have anything. I mean, they're people. I mean, you have 1 billion people and they don't have oil. Uh-oh. But anyway, so that's what we got going on. What about you? What any fun stories from you going on right now?
No, I don't want to go to work.
You don't want to go to work?
No.
I get it. I mean, it's a dreary day. It rained like a crazy thing. The dogs were silly last night. It's been yeah, I think our show, we definitely are going to have more fun next week.
Yeah.
Because we are special. Do we have a special guest? Is he going to be here? Roland?
Yeah.
I can't even remember the guy's name. Jeez, my mind is gone. Yeah, so Roland is going to be, hopefully, we're going to be talking about music next week. And this is a question to anyone else. Like one of the questions, and Roland actually has an answer. I posed the question: what song do you love now, and you really will not admit it? And he's like, "Do you want me to tell you?" And I said, "No, don't tell us. You got to tell us next week. We know yours because we talked about yours last week. But I think it's gonna be fun. I have a couple.
I'm proud of my song.
Well, you're proud of your song. It's a cute song.
Right.
It's a cute song.
I don't keep it in the closet.
Yeah, mine is pretty. I mean, there's some songs that I would be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. But we're going to talk more music and stuff like that. And then hopefully the riots will be over. Hopefully this will just calm down and all of a sudden we'll just have a normal week and we'll just bitch and moan about the Democrats the whole time.
There you go.
There you go. So anyway, I missed, you're going to have to do some talking because I got to cue up the bagpipes again.
Abigail doesn't have much to say.
Abigail's quiet today. Hold on. Bagpipe guy. Bagpipe guy, please stop
Too
playing.
loud.
Well, hey, bagpipes. There we go. Bagpipes. Oh yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Have a great week, everyone.